Hello.
Hello. It is time for DDE.
It is. This is the April DDE. And if you are watching this and it's not quite April 1st yet, your designs should appear in your account on April 1st.
Yep, which would be this weekend
Yes.
if you're watching it on the day that we put it out.
Yes, it's going to be Wednesday, the 20-something.
28th is the Wednesday.
Yes.
I think.
That sounds right.
I think. Maybe,
Something
I don't
like
know.
that.
My calendar's not in front of me. That's
I know,
anyway.
right?
It won't be long.
And this project, or this particular block, it's this cute little bee block.
So cute.
Yeah, she's not a fan of bees. It's okay.
Not a fan.
We kind of have two parts. We have to make freestanding wings, and then we're going to attach the wings onto the quilt square.
Yep,
essentially.
that's exactly right.
And 2 blocks this month.
You're going to make 2 bees. So we are going to, since it's such a quick stitch out, it seems like a waste of stuff to not do both wings. We're going to go ahead and do both wings in the hoop at the same time for both blocks, but we'll only do 1 block live. But yeah, they will both fit in a 4x4 hoop together. We're in a 5x7. You do not need a 5x7.
Just what we had.
It's just what we had out, so
yeah,
it was easiest.
You'll need your water-soluble mesh.
Yep.
We have kind of 2 layers just because we did the 2 in here.
Yep.
You probably could get away with 1.
Probably. I mean, even the satin stitches, it's not going to pull enough to make any difference. That's not super big. So all together, stitch time and whatnot, it's about 10 minutes. It'll probably be a little longer than that because I have to trim the
and
stuff,
they should have some tulle
and some mylar. So we're going to make a sandwich. So we're going to, in our kit, which we got ours so long ago, I don't have a clue how it came in the actual kit when they finalized it. Our tulle is 1 long piece. I'm just making a sandwich. So I'm putting the mylar and then I'm closing that inside the tulle sandwich, which is what it has you do. It has you do it separately. I don't see any reason to do them separately.
Yeah, no reason to do that.
We're just going to lay it all on there. When we get there, you'll see I am going to actually tape these down because
they're slippery little
they are slippery and it likes to shift around. Yeah. So, okay, I think that was all the prep. We are going to attempt the block again without fusible backing. So far, it's been working beautifully. Everything has come out really, really nice. So time and money.
And we are pre-quilting.
We're pre-quilting and we're using batting.
Yeah, so that gives us a little bit more in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Does it matter what color we start with?
I put the white in. I think that's the only color we're going to use on this, is what I believe. I don't think this matters. It won't really show.
Okay. And so we have just like a soft white in, it's not like bright.
Not the bright white. It's almost off white.
Yeah.
But it's not quite that pretty.
Did we put 2 in or did we?
I didn't color sort.
Okay.
I got the 2 in there, but I didn't get it color sorted. Let's see if that works. It might not because there's
it looks like it did. Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Color sorting is good when you put 2 things in there. I just
didn't
get that far.
Yeah, we got to talking about other things. So this is going to be the placement. Oh, it's because it's empty.
Somebody's actually used tape.
Somebody used tape. I know, right?
I know.
Back. All right. We're going to
take our sandwiches and cover up just a bit.
It's so slick.
And you know, white's great, but you can't see jack, so it's like, And I am keeping the tape out of the stitch line It's gonna be really hard to get it out otherwise.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll also want to pay, if you're doing the same thing, attention. Like this piece is up a little bit.
Make
so
sure the foot doesn't catch on it.
exactly, just make sure you're paying attention when you
Yep.
start stitching.
I can't quite get that smoothed out
No.
after all of the back and forths, but.
And then this is going to be, it looks like a little bit of stitching inside of it, right? Instead of a immediate trim.
The lace mesh.
Yes.
So in the directions, it does tell you to have a matching bobbin in. Our bobbin is our standard embroidery bobbin, and it's white, and our top thread is basically white. I'm not going to wind another bobbin for something like this, especially because even though it's technically lace and you could see the back, you're not going to. I mean, you literally have to fold the wing completely over to
Right.
see the back of it on the quilt.
Yeah, and you're really not going to notice much difference
You still
between
won't notice much.
bobbin thread and this thread.
So my opinion, I think yours as well, it's not worth the time to mess with that for this particular type.
Yeah, if you were doing something a little bit more creative, maybe you didn't want your wings to be white. Maybe you were going to make
If you're going to
bee
make them a
little
different
more
color.
colorful,
Yep.
right? Then I definitely would probably match that, because you would see a little bit of that peeking through everything.
Your bobbin thread could show a little bit.
Exactly.
But as we said, ours basically already match. And for my opinion, good enough for who it's for on that one.
Yeah.
Again, if
definitely.
these were black or navy or something else, even yellow might show through a little bit.
Yeah. But not that white.
But not this white. It's just not worth the time.
No.
So.
And this one is almost done, and then it's going to jump down and it's going to do the second set.
I think we're safe on our little.
I think we are. It's going to come
there.
forward.
It's going to come forward.
Yeah, but be mindful of yours depending on how your pieces are on there, because you don't want that to get wrapped up in there. Oh, yeah.
We'll be right back as soon as this is done.
Okay, we have our second wing lace pattern finished, and we're going to take it to the machine, or the cutting counter over here, and Lisa's going to trim around that.
So I am going to go ahead and get this tape out of my way so it doesn't hold anything down that I don't want to stay there. And let's see if we can do all of the layers at once. I think so. Without the tool, you'd be able to just tear the Mylar, but with that tool around it, that does not, of course, work. If anybody's wondering, why don't I just tear it? There's a reason. I think I missed a little bit of the back tool here. There we go. So it's certainly faster to go with all 3 layers, but be careful that you don't drop one of them, or be prepared to double check and make sure that you got it all the way around. My scissors are kind of sliding. Don't really even have to scissor motion. Just coming off nice and clean. Looks pretty.
Got a little shimmer there.
Yep. Because that tool's the same color as the stabilizer, it's really easy to think you've got everything and actually leave the bottom layer of tool down. All righty. So from here, we are going to do the satin outlines. Here we go. Oh,
There we go.
there we go.
All right, it's going to go around the outside, and we'll be right back.
All
Okay.
right, that is all of the stitching for these guys. So this is literally how complicated that was.
Yeah.
We've got 2 sets of wings. Again, it's much easier to just get them both done in one hooping. All the colors, everything are there. So I would recommend that when you're doing it as well. And from there, we're going to just pop that out of the hoop and then trim. This is water soluble mesh. So we basically are going to trim really close. Of course, don't clip your stitches themselves. And then you can rinse with water. I'm going to trim a little closer than I normally would because we don't have time. We don't have time to rinse and then stitch. So normally I would tell you to trim approximately between an eighth and a quarter, something like that.
And
all
then
right.
rinse.
And then rinse from there. I'm going to just trim really, really tight.
Right.
So,
and the Kimberbell instructions say to rinse in cool water.
I would do warm.
Well, I was going to say also you want to know what water soluble stabilizer you're using. Some of them have different recommendations.
Very fair.
So if it recommends warm water, then definitely rinse in warm water. If it recommends cold water, then rinse in cool water. I think the Kimberbell water soluble does say something about cool rinse. So just be mindful of that part when you are rinsing because it can really make a difference in how that all washes out.
All right. Should we jump in? You want to pull up the next design?
Yeah. All right.
So there's one set of wings, and then these are going to be placed actually into the hoop, which is why you want to rinse them beforehand. Like I said, I'm just going to trim super tight.
And we're going to do pre-quilting in the hoop. So I am loading both the quilting file and the little bee. And these two, in previous months, we've talked a little bit about needing to move the design. These need to be both centered, so that should work. And this is a really small design, so this is also going to fit in a 5x7 hoop.
With the quilting?
With the quilting. It's 4.5 by 4.5. So.
Do we want to do both of them as long as we're here?
Yeah, we can do that. So I will get that set up because it's, yeah, it's only 8 minutes. So
that's not
that's
bad.
pretty quick. So we're going to go ahead and put both of them in a hoop.
There is a closely trimmed wing. You can see the difference on the back. It's the duller bobbin thread. So if you did do this, you still can tell which one's the top and the bottom. All right. I was going to say, can you group it and copy it or no?
I can do this. I think I can make it work.
Okay. And there is the second one. So we are all ready to go. I think Sarah's ready over here.
All right, so we are going to, we are working in our 7 by 12 hoop. And I have both designs in the machine. So we're probably going to need a slightly longer piece of batting. And we're going to go ahead and start with the placement line for the batting. So we have no show mesh in the hoop. And I still have that white thread in.
That is the same thread we've been using for our quilting.
Yep.
That we used for the wings as well. Good job.
I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah. I dare anyone to notice.
Right.
They're not exactly the same.
Right. I'll be like,
There's the door.
there's the door. Yeah.
Jeff pulled up our Wednesday when he was like, "You want to watch this?" I was like, not
No.
really.
We lived it.
and it ran for just a second, and I laughed, and it was like the most evil sounding laugh. I was like, "Oh my gosh, is that what I always felt like?" It was one of those that I just did. That's why I was like, that's what reminded me. All right, so I had an oversized piece before, so I was able to make this work for both. So we're just covering that up, and then we're going to tack that down.
And it's going to go around 2 times on each one, and then we're going to trim.
That's the way it goes. I forgot, the squares are the small ones, the rectangles are the big ones.
Yeah.
I saw the 6.5 and my brain went,
Yeah.
6.5, but that was the size of the fabric, not
Right.
the size of the square. That is always mildly confusing, pre-quilting or not pre-quilting. and I guess I could have looked at the actual quilting design and it would have said 4.5 by 4.5.
That's all right.
But yeah, even with both of these, the stitch time only shows 18 minutes on our screen. So
Yeah.
just add on a little bit of applique trimming in there and
Right.
we'll be zooming right through.
That's right. Still probably 30 minutes, 40 minutes, less than 40 minutes.
Yeah.
It's not too bad. Probably an hour with your
With the wings,
Not a bad.
it's not so shabby.
No. Not too bad at all.
As these go, these are okay.
Yeah, they're pretty un-bee-like, I guess. As un-bee-like as a bee can be.
Did we lose the second one? Okay, I was like, okay.
Maybe we're only doing one. All right, now we need to trim off the batting. Are you going to do it here or are you going to do it over there?
I'll do it over there.
Okay.
Since there's two, it's going to be
A tad bit.
even a little bit more challenging
Yep.
to do it over here. All righty, so nothing fancy here. Just going to go right around, get rid of that excess. This is one of those things that dull scissors really makes difficult. So
Yes, it does.
have good scissors or grumble a lot.
That is the truth. That is definitely the truth.
You know, you can fudge your way through fabrics, but something about the batting, the different layers, and
Just choose it.
it's just it like pushes your scissors and
Yeah.
not fun.
Yeah. Well, and also, different battings have different
Different,
things in them.
the scrim and the
Yeah, we use Quilter's Dream batting. It doesn't have scrim in it, which doesn't dull our scissors quite as
Yeah.
quickly.
cuts a little cleaner. Ta-da! Okay,
Okay.
so again, if I was at home, I'd skip this.
Right. This is just where your placement is, and you have oversized pieces, so it's not going to be rocket science. But if you need it, it's there.
Absolutely. And if you have a no-sew feature and you are somebody that skips this, you could actually pre-program it and then you wouldn't even have to remember.
Yes, as long as you paid attention
Paid attention to
that it was that one. And
which
not
one it
the-
was. Yep,
Yeah.
for sure.
And if you've done a couple Kimberbells, you know that it's,
You can count 1, 2.
yeah,
This one. Okay, I don't want that one.
right,
It would be number 3.
yeah.
Because you got your batting placement, your batting tack down, and then this is the placement. So it would be stitch number 3 if you are doing a quilting design and you wanted to skip it.
Or 5 and 6 if you have 2 in there.
If you have 2 in there.
And you have them.
All right.
This
So-
fabric is perfect for these.
It really is
little
honeycomb and yep.
Yeah. So we're probably going to have just a
Just pull
tad
this
bit
down
of,
just a
or we
hair.
could have a little overlap if we need to, as long as I
Yeah.
think if the top is overlapping, it should be fine, right?
Yeah.
Because
I
it'll
would-
go down.
And it's just going to tack it.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we're good. We're going to get that in there, tacked in place. You could, of course, tape this. I'm sure it surprises no one that we aren't. I think we've done all of our quilting with this thread so far.
I think we did. We
Did
have
we do
one
a gray or something on one of
maybe
them?
I feel like a green.
Green?
Because it wasn't a white background. I think it was a green background.
I guess the where I was going with that, if you wanted a pale yellow here instead of the cream
Oh,
for
yeah.
your quilting, you absolutely could do that.
Absolutely.
Totally up to you, but we're going to leave the white in. And that is the next stitch.
We're gonna do the quilting, and
Here we
it's
go.
cute.
It is. Got little bees in it.
Yep. This will take a couple minutes of your time. It won't take a couple minutes in our video. So
No. We'll be back
we're
when
gonna,
it's done.
yeah, we're gonna sort of fast forward through that for you.
Do this one or this one?
I think we should do black. All
I
right.
agree.
So we are finished with the quilting, and you can
Almost not even see
didn't
it.
see it. Yeah, it's pretty small in there. And we're gonna do basically the arms and the antennae, and we're gonna do that in black. I think the instructions we were debating.
They're calling for a
Charcoal.
charcoal. I don't personally like the way that looks, I think. So we're going to try black. If we get done and we're like, oh, that's too stark, we'll
let you know.
We'll let you know, and you can look at ours and make that decision for yourself. But we're going to go with the black thread. So these are the legs and the antennae.
Yep. And this is probably 4 or 5, maybe 6
With
minutes,
cuts in there,
depending
yep.
on your machine and your speed. But it shouldn't be too terrible. And then again, we're doing both, so ours will take a couple more minutes if you're only doing one.
Almost there. Ding, 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 ding.
All right, so this is the placement line for
The bum.
and we actually are layering 2 fabrics on top of each other, right? So black goes first.
Black goes first, yellow goes next.
All right, so we're gonna stay with our black thread.
Yep. Mm,
Aren't we right here?
just black. No, yet. Oh,
Oh.
never mind. Don't mind me.
Okay.
In my head, I was like, you were saying doing this.
Oh no.
And I was like, no.
no, I just meant yellow goes
So
on
I was
top
like, wait,
later.
no, that's not what we're doing. My brain is not comprehending things this morning.
That's all right.
How many times have I done that? Like, wait, what?
I mean, I might not have said it very clearly too. So I mean, it is early
Okay.
and I haven't finished my coffee. So, in case we just did an outline for the black, and now we're gonna do the fabric tack down, and then we're gonna trim on
and
this.
then we're going to trim this, and then we're going to put the yellow down.
Yes.
But there's no big satin stitch
No.
on that fabric, so the you would see the black on the yellow, which is why I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing?
Yes. Yep.
Let's make sure we're doing that right. You will want to use your yellow thread when you're tacking down your yellow fabric because it will show.
Yes.
Let's pop it up a little here.
Yeah. It actually, I'm not sure if it's the bobbin thread or if it's actually a little bit of the fabric,
fabric?
too. Sometimes that happens.
All right, we are going to trim these little bee butts.
Oh, but it could have been. Look at the thread was wrapped up around here too. All right, so I'm going to change to a yellow. And the yellow thread that we're going to use is ES609 while Lisa trims off. Oh, no, I think we keep the black in. Don't ignore us. There is some decorative stitching that's about to happen with black thread.
Are they going to do the edges?
Uh-huh.
Number 4, stitch the decorative abdomen.
Yep.
Decorative outline. Yep, leave the black in.
So don't change your black yet.
It's just odd when you layer stuff. Usually you layer it. But that's okay. We're going to do some decorative stitching first.
Yep.
All right, we got some bee bums.
Bee bums it is.
Bee bums coming at ya. Little tack down stitch here. Decorative,
Yep.
sorta.
Kind of looks like a candle wicking type stitch.
So it's only going where there's not going to be yellow fabric, in case you're wondering what the heck it's doing.
Yep.
I think the gray would not look as well here, personally. So I like the black.
Yep. You can't really see it, but I think that's okay. I don't think it needed to be contrasting.
I don't think
with
contrasty. No, because it's going to have a big old yellow contrast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I looked at this and I thought it was stitching.
Sometimes.
Just never know what your brain's going to come up with.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to change to the yellow.
Yes.
Because we're going to place our yellow fabric.
And that was ES609. But it was probably a good thing that I changed it anyways, because our black thread was
It wasn't feeding super nice.
It had gotten looped around our spool at the top, so it was poking through a little. The nerve.
The nerve.
Okay.
I think we're gonna need it again. So
I think
give
you're
that
right.
Back.
Okay.
Just gonna get rid of this.
Okay.
I don't like it.
This is what we meant by kind of layering on top of it. It's gonna do some stripes.
Yep. Still working on the bee bum.
Yep. There's a lot going on this bee butt.
I mean, for as tiny as it is, there really is a kind of a lot going on.
Yeah.
They have black attaching that.
Do you want black or do you want white?
I don't. It's a bee. I don't care. I'm about at my limit right here. So.
All right. So we're gonna place that over top of the area.
So this is definitely a directional fabric. They are showing the lines going vertical.
Mm-hmm.
I think that probably.
Yeah, you could definitely.
You could turn it.
Do it this way if you wanted to, but you will be cutting into it a little bit more. So you could do one way and one the other way.
Say we could.
Well, we can do that.
Let's do that.
Let's do it,
then
we
you guys can decide which way you like.
Yeah. I think I have it pretty straight-ish.
It'll work. That's a pretty good color, just a slight contrast.
Yeah, I get.
You could go either slightly lighter or slightly darker.
Mm-hmm.
We went with the slightly darker. Those were our options anyways, based on the colors that we had sitting here. Remember who was in the other day and we were talking about working by the needle, and I was like, I know she watches us on Wednesdays, and she was like, yeah, Makes me so nervous every time you put your hands up there. Yeah, well, you know,
Yes.
so far, someday I'll learn to regret doing that. But
Possibly.
hopefully
Yes,
no
let's
time
hopefully.
soon.
Yep. All right, now we're going to trim, and then we've got decorative stitching. So we're going to keep that same color
Keep
in.
that pretty color there. And these are a little bit tinier. But again, because there's fabric in there, we're not adding tons of stitching, which is part of why the need for that fusible in there works, that we're skipping that. You know, when you have all of these open stitches. All right. One down. Making me squeamish. Touching a bee.
I should have offered to do that for you.
Ugh, it's the bee's bum, which has a stinger on it. All right, so be really careful that you don't cut your black fabric when you're getting that center there. I went around the outsides first and then just gently pushed until I got my scissors inside.
It's super cute, though. The little stripes.
It is. So that one is the vertical and that one is the horizontal stripes.
They're both pretty cute, actually.
I think that diagonal, like if you don't put it on there straight,
Right.
you wouldn't like, but I don't think that it matters. I like them both.
Yeah. And just a couple minutes of decorative stitching. It's more of that kind of candle wicking style stitch.
Goes pretty
that's
quick.
Going around. Yeah, it's going really quick. So this should be done lickety split. And then I bet we're going to probably start putting on our wings.
Gray.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
We're just discussing thread color.
So we're putting our black thread back in, and we are going to do the placement line for the top of the bee body here. And that's the area where we'll be attaching our wings.
I think it's
shortly.
funny for the head and thorax.
Right.
Okay.
Let's be very
That's very
specific about that.
specific.
Okay, so we'll be using our last two black fabrics here.
But I like that stitch.
Yeah, it's kind of sloppy, but it's
a little
cute.
sloppy.
I guess it's a bee.
When you add in, I don't know if it's the stitch as much as the combination of the raw edge coming through it, the stitch.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. All right, that's where we're going to put them.
Okay.
Sure, undo my work.
Sorry, got stuck on my sleeve.
It did,
The nerve.
absolutely did.
Okay.
Gonna tack this down.
And then we're gonna trim.
And then I get to trim again. Just a little head. For a bee, this is pretty cute.
Yeah.
I just don't think bees are cute.
No, they did a good job of kind of making it look
Realistic, but not
like cute, realistic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think having so much fabric actually softens where when it's all heavy stitching,
Yeah.
it can look a little
I agree.
scarier.
Yeah, it's more realistic for sure. All right, now we're gonna trim.
All right.
And then we're going to keep the same fabric or the same thread in because we're going to be doing the decorative stitching around the body part. That is pretty quick again. And then we'll have placement for the wings and the wing tack down. So we're actually pretty close to being done here.
Lots of little fabric piece edges. So we've got 2 little guys there. We're going to do some decorative stitching and then we'll add the wings.
Okay.
Here we go. And again, we are still in that black thread.
Yep. That'll take just a couple minutes and we'll be right back.
Some fuzzies.
A lot of fuzzies.
Lots
Okay.
of fuzzies. Okay, so the last step is going to be adding the wings. So it's just going to do a little, it's like a letter I, I think.
Yep, that's what it looks like here.
Sideways or no, I think it's even the right direction.
Yeah, that would be an H. It's an I.
Yep, it's an I. I remembered seeing an I, but I couldn't remember what direction that it was in. I can go for crying out loud. So it's going to do that. And that is where we put the center of our wings. And
tape them down.
we're going to tape those down so they don't shift. And then there's a large satin stitch that goes right over the center to keep them in place.
Okay.
All right.
Do we want to do that over there?
Probably.
Maybe it can be easier to see.
Probably.
Okay.
Give me a better view of screwing up.
You can do it.
Well, you know, black thread on black is... All right, so there is...
In hindsight, you could change to white thread for that, and it would make this probably a lot easier.
A little bit. I mean, I can see it.
And you wouldn't be
But
able...
that little guy right there is where we're lining that up to. So you do want to try to get the center of your wing literally on the bar of the eye.
Oh, it's so cute.
I actually have to agree with that. And let's be real, if it's not 100% centered, I am sure that it probably makes it more realistic.
That's right.
Because, I mean, I'm not equally balanced on each side, so I don't imagine bees actually are either. All right, I am going to trim. I got some, I thought I got them all, but I guess I missed some. Once it's on there, it'll be harder to trim off any little bobbin thread knot pieces. Should have done that first, like I did last time. Okay, there we go.
So cute.
Actually pretty, it is actually kind of cute.
It is.
All right, and we're doing this with black thread. This was our conversation when we popped back on is the best option for color on here. Doing a nice job.
Yep.
Making sure that doesn't fall off.
Yeah. And I can't show you next month, but I can tell you that next month is a pieced quilt block. So it's all piecing, like kind of paper piecing in the hoop. And it's
Folded fabric, probably.
folded fabric. Yep. Kind of like what you've done in one of the, oh, I totally forgot the me time.
Paper piecing.
Me time piecing.
Perfectly
pieced. That's the word I was looking for. All right. So cute.
So in the actual picture, it shows that with the gray, and I don't actually like that. It doesn't look like it blends as part of it.
I would agree.
So I actually think the black looks way better, personally, especially on that particular stitch. So we've got tape to come off, but that was the final stitch. So now we have our .3D little bumblebee.
Cute.
So, and this is a 7x12 hoop, so you can very, very easily fit both of them in there. You saw this was pretty quick
Yep.
going through everything. So I'd say just
Do it.
get it all done
Yes.
for sure. So very, very cute. I'm even not liking bees. That's cute.
Yeah.
So
All right.
All
Well,
right.
guys, until
till
until
next
May.
time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.